Hey everyone, welcome back. Yesterday we looked at my top 10 picks for 2024, both global and local, and today we are looking at Paul's picks for the year. He's got 6 lined up for us, so Paul, excited to hear what those are. Just before we get into it, just a reminder that these picks are not financial advice, and although Paul is a financial advisor, we prefer the term financial companion, just because a companion is a partner. That's our definition for it. Mentioned it yesterday in the video. But anyway, you can book a free 50-minute call with Paul if you want to chat finances, investing, or have questions. Feel free to do so. Link is in the description. Now, Paul, what's your first pick for 2024? And just before getting into it, I'm excited to see how many of our picks overlap, and it's going to be friendly competition between us. So, ready for this year? What's your first pick?
Here you go. I'm looking forward to taking you on this year. Last year, of course, it was friendly banter. This year, it's more official. So we'll see what happens. My first pick is my highest conviction pick for the year. 25% of my portfolio, as it was last year, is Bitcoin. Or in easy equities terms, it will be the EC10 index. So you guys can check it out on easy equities. Go to crypto bundles and EC10. It's basically it's a market-weighted bundle. So mostly invest in Bitcoin, and then a little bit of Ethereum or Ether, and then the other top 8 coins, small allocations. I've already given you my reasons why I think Bitcoin has a very promising future, and why specifically it will do well this year. Of course, it's a very volatile asset, right? Some years it does extremely well, and other years it's a little bit of a sad story. But this year specifically, and also next year, it looks very promising. And I'll quickly give you the 4 reasons again, but you can check it out in the video that we did, the deep dive last year. On the demand side, we have the ETFs that will hopefully be approved later this week. The date is the 10th, which is on Wednesday. So yeah, by the time this video lands, we will know if it is approved or not. But regardless, if it's approved.
Hi everyone, this is your Wealth Wingman, and just to let you know, ever since we recorded the video, the Bitcoin ETFs have been approved.
Approved or not, it will be most likely later this year if it's not now. And ETFs, of course, drives both retail and especially institutional adoption. It makes it easier for you to buy Bitcoin in a very safe way via a traditional asset manager like BlackRock or Fidelity or Vanguard. South African terms, it would be Allen Gray or Signia or Coronation 91. Cool. The second reason is interest rates. I think interest rates are coming down this year given the election and also the macroeconomic circumstances. The US has to decrease interest rates, South Africa will follow. And if interest rates go down, asset prices go up, people have more money, they take out more loans, they invest the money, stimulates the economy. And then on the supply side, of course, we have the halving. You can just check that out, guys, in the video that I covered exactly what the halving is and how it works. But the point is, it's a supply shock. Basically, the supply of Bitcoin, the new Bitcoin coming into the system every day, is cut in half, which means it's more scarce. And then lastly, we see on-chain metrics, such as what are people doing with the Bitcoin? Are they buying? Are they selling? Are they holding? Is it on the exchanges? Is it off the exchanges? And it's looking very bullish there as well. So my highest conviction play for the year, 25%, is EC10.
Very interesting. So one of my picks was also the EC10 token. We are aware that not everyone is on easy equities. If you do want to create an account, we'll put a link in the bio. We actually have quite a few partnerships with them. One of them is we also have baskets on easy equities. But one of them, or if you sign up through our link, you get a small investing voucher when you start. This video is not promoted by easy equities, just to make that very, very clear. We haven't been promoted like that at all. We chose EC10 because it is a cool instrument to cover the crypto space. So that's a mutual pick. So what's your second pick, Paul?
Cool. Again, you go, call me a moon boy, but it's the ECA20, or it's a bundle of altcoins. So how it normally works, let me explain to you in crypto terms, is first, everyone is very bullish about crypto. There's new investors, and what do? They flock to Bitcoin because it's the biggest one, it's the oldest one, it's the most reliable one. Then Bitcoin jumps and rockets, and then it kind of stagnates. What do people do? They take profits. Now they invest, they're looking for the next best thing. So what is the next best thing? It is the biggest altcoin, specifically Ether, but then also like Cardano and Polkadot and BNB and Avalanche and so on. So they flock to the next best thing. Then that runs, Bitcoin stagnates, the biggest alts run. Then once that stagnates, then they go to the next best thing, which is what we call S coins in crypto, but basically poop coins. And it's like from like, it's like the small caps. And there you burn your fingers, you go 10x or you go minus 10x very, very quickly. So then that runs, then the whole cycle takes a breather again. Everyone loses 10, 20, 30% overnight because the market basically retracts. And then it starts all over again. Bitcoin into big alts, into the poop coins. And I don't know which altcoins will be the winners in 10 to 20 years. Just like I didn't know in the year 2002, which will be the biggest tech stocks in the world. Of course, if you were lucky and maybe you knew something we didn't, you picked Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, all of these stocks. But the chances are that you didn't know that those were going to be the biggest. But you knew the space as a whole, the internet, was going to be big. And that's how I feel. So I'm not concerned about picking the biggest one. I'm concerned about picking the space as a whole. And I know how it works because I've been in this space for a long time. It's Bitcoin. Once people get bored, boom, it's altcoins. And because they are smaller, they go up way higher, way quicker. It's almost like a baby. For a baby to double in size, it's way quicker and easier than for a teenager to double in size. So that's my second biggest conviction for the year. Way more risk than Bitcoin, but you can make more money. Also 25%. So crypto as a whole is 50% of my portfolio this year, as it was in 2023.
Wow, I don't know if I should be excited or not because you're going high risk. So either you're going to get hammered and I'll win, or you're going to outperform. And then I'll probably have to buy you a drink or something. Anyway, so high risk for your top, 50% of your portfolio for this year. It's going to be interesting to see how that performs. What's your third pick for the year?
All right, you guys. So my next pick, we're going to the US markets. We now did the global one, which is crypto, whatever. I don't know how you even classify that. Is it the global market economy, crypto, Bitcoin? I don't know. But the next one is we're going to America. We're going into the MSCI world, or basically mostly America, but also the rest of the world. It's only equity, stocks across the world, mostly in America. Now, in the US market specifically, you go, I'm not a US citizen. I don't follow the US market, very, very daily number 95 like the US investors do. So the pool sitting in America has a better chance of picking the best American stocks than the pool sitting in South Africa. I have a better chance of picking the right South African stocks. And so what I do is I look at macroeconomics and I ask myself, what is the US going to do this year? Is the market going to go up, sideways, or down? What is my prediction? And I predict that it will go very well this year. And the reason why is two main reasons. There's many reasons, but main reasons. One is interest rates are coming down. That's a fact. It's a fact. The market, the middle class is struggling. The interest rate has now been high for a long time. And America is accumulating debt like we've never seen before. I mean, the debt is spiraling. So they are struggling to actually pay off their debt. The monthly interest payments are so high. So they have to cover themselves, decrease the interest rates. Also coinciding with that is the election. And every year, every 4 years in the election, like I said in the Bitcoin video, it's hot grape jaar, where you have to kind of, stimulate the economy so you get re-elected. So everyone is going to do that. And once again, interest rates are going down, you give people money, you stimulate the economy in whichever way you have to. It will basically boost the market. So I don't invest in an individual stock. I invest in the index as a whole, MSCI World.
What percentage of your portfolio is that?
That's 10%. So
Okay,
the next
10%.
5 picks will all be 10%. Right. So that's the first one. We're coming back to South Africa. So all my remaining picks are South African picks. The first one is the bond market. So last year, like you mentioned a few times, I did back bonds the most in 2023 out of all the South African options: property, stock market, bonds, money market, and so on. And bonds did perform the best. South Africa, the all share, I think, increased by 7%, and bonds did 8%. And it was only the last few months of the year where the stock market actually rallied a little bit. If it wasn't for the last few months, it was basically flat. So bonds did the best, even though 8% is nothing to write home about, because I did expect the interest rate to come down earlier, and it didn't. It stayed very high. This year, I expect high interest rates, and maybe in end of Q2, maybe Q3, June, July, August, interest rates will start coming down, which means asset prices go up and bonds will do very well. So yes, it's a safe pick, but I have to anchor my portfolio in some way because crypto is definitely not anchoring. So I think the bond is a safe play, and I think it will do relatively well in 2024.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if the bonds perform well, because even though it's not one of my picks, I actually own some bonds through you. So let's for my personal finance sake, let's hope it goes well, and for the competition, maybe not. Anyway, what's your next pick?
Right. So the next is a large cap on the JSE. It's my one of 3 individual stocks that I'm picking this year. And it's Naspers. We all know Naspers / Process. So Naspers, when you think Naspers, you're thinking Tencent. Tencent is gaming, and they're in China. So those two. Firstly, China. There's a very negative sentiment on China at the moment worldwide. If you own China stocks and you tell people how to buy, they're like, what? China? That's weird. It hasn't done very well. People are negative, which I like. I love it to invest when people are negative, because somewhere, it's not like it's going to zero. Chinese economy is not going to zero. Somewhere it has to bottom out. And I love negative sentiment, especially at the beginning of the year, where I still have 12 months for it to recover. And then the gaming itself, like Tencent itself, has took a hammering in 2023. It's not only the Chinese economy, also the specific company. So it's a little bit of a turnaround narrative for me. Of course, Naspers is not a small cap; it's a big company. But I think we can see proper upside this year between 10 and 25%, which is once again a safer play in the equity space.
China is definitely interesting in investment space to operate in. I actually saw a stat that 2023 was the first year, I think it's ever, or in many years, that China actually saw a net outflow from foreign investors. So the sentiment, you're right there. And whether we'll continue this year or not will be interesting to watch. What's your next pick?
Right, so my second last pick was my biggest pick last year, biggest stock pick of 2023, and it's once again part of my portfolio for 2024. That's Caxton. It's a beautiful little company in South Africa. They do printing and publishing. That's half the business, so local newspapers and so on. Of course, that business isn't going anywhere. It's not like newspapers are all of a sudden going to boom again. It's a stable cash cow for them. It's basically it's stable, maybe even declining slightly, but it's generating very proper cash flow, no debt on the business. Beautiful. And then the other side of the business is, of course, the packaging part of the business. It's 50%, but it's increasing. They're focusing all the more resources on the packaging segment, because packaging is a massive industry worldwide. I think it's the 4th biggest industry in the world. If you think about it, everything you basically buy, whether it be a phone, KFC, literally everything, AirPods, even a T-shirt, once you pay, they give it to you in packaging, is everything comes in packaging. And we're moving towards sustainable packaging, so more paper and cardboard and stuff like this, as opposed to plastic. And Caxton is prime and ready to take advantage of that. Once again, they are in South Africa, so South Africa is unfortunately not looking that great at the moment. So then the size of the pie in which they operate is not increasing, but they are increasing their chunk of the pie by consistently buying small companies along the way. So they come full part of us, and they're basically increasing the company size. They have a massive cash position, which at the moment is not a problem at all, because interest rates are very high. So they get money from that. So it's a safe play, 5 PE or 5.5 PE. I think 6 or 7% dividend yield at the moment. So even if the company just trades flat for the year, you still get your 7% divi, which is basically like a fixed deposit savings rate at the bank. I think, downside very limited. And Caxton, I think Caxton will continue to do very well. I see at the moment it's about 11 Rand. I can see a 14, 15 Rand at the end of the year for sure.
Okay. Yes, see. I wouldn't mind, because that's also one of my picks. So before we get into your final pick for this year, Paul, I want to ask the viewers, the community, to also give your stock picks. We love investing and we love chatting about these things, and stock picks are fun and they are very volatile, if that's the word. We don't know how it's going to play out, but for fun's sake, let us know what your picks are. Paul, what is your final pick for 2024?
Yeah, my final pick here, once again, macroeconomics. That's kind of the theme for this year for me. I invest macro. I look at the economy and I choose my winners. And the last basically about 20 years, or in the cycle, the PGM basket, platinum has been specifically has taken quite a hit, and I think it's about to bottom out. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's next year. So that's why it's only 10% of my portfolio. I don't know when exactly the basket is going to bottom out and start running again. But if it runs very sharply. And we know that from looking at the past. So my play here is Impala Platinum. Can even look at Sibanye because that's also a high beta stock. Once that thing turns, it turns sharply. But Impala is my pick. So yeah, I think that's it's not. I don't have a high conviction of it this year. I know it will be somewhere soon, but once again, this year, next year, in 3 years, don't really know. But commodities are very cyclical and they are very volatile. So if it turns this year, we're going to see some proper upside, and hopefully Impala is one of the benefactors of that.
There's actually a few commodities you mentioned yesterday. In yesterday's video, I'll be doing a recovery picks as well. And there is a few commodity players that I am looking at for those picks. So make sure you are subscribed for that video. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win between Paul and myself. He's obviously going way higher risk and more concentrated. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. And if you want to book a call with him, remember the link is in the description. Also, the link to my picks from yesterday's video is also in the description. Have a great day. Have a great year. And thanks for being part of the community. Cheers.